Race Weekend is brought to you by Phoenix Fuels.
Make every trip come alive with Phoenix Fuels, now with Pulse technology.
Rally enthusiasts, both competitors and spectators, are enjoying the return of rallycross competition with better organization and handling of the Philippine Rallycross Series. This was clearly manifested in rounds 2 and 3 of the 2018 Philippine Rallycross Series, which we have for you on this edition of Race Weekend.
We're here once again in Lubao, Pampanga for the second and third round of the Philippine Rallycross Series, as cars are as usual lining up, eager for the start of the race. Round 1 of the 2018 Philippine Rallycross Series surprised organizers and faithful followers of the sport of rallying by the large number of competitors who showed up at the Pradera Verde in Lubao, Pampanga. It was a long day of competition under the hot Pampanga sun, made even longer because of the twin 3.8-kilometer dirt tracks laid out for the competition. Long high-speed segments alternated with tricky corners and turns led to drivers taking more time to complete their runs. And some of the drivers completed theirs well after sunset. For rounds 2 and 3, a daytime and evening run, the PRXS organizers had to cut out some of the high-speed segments to allow for shorter stage times and faster turnover of the competitors. I'm here with one of the directors of the Philippine Rallycross Series, a former racer himself, Mr. Egay Quesada. Hi, Egay.
Hi.
I believe you've joined an episode of Race Weekend a couple of weeks back and told our viewers everything they needed to know about Philippine Rallycross Series. But for the benefit of those who weren't able to catch that episode, could you just give the viewers a refresher of what the Philippine Rallycross Series is all about?
Well, first of all, thank you, Wee, for coming here again. Rallycross is a time trial format wherein 2 cars are released each time going on separate tracks. And the surface is gravel, soil, mud. Basically, it's slippery. That's what Rallycross is all about. You try to find the grip while running the track. And yes, we combine 3 heats. We drop 1 heat, which is the slowest, and then combine your 2 fastest times. Anyway, for those who want to join us, please do come. We have 7 classes based on engine displacements. There's Group 1 for 1300cc and below, and there's Group 2 for 1301 to 1600, and so on and so forth. We also have the UV class wherein pickups and SUVs can join, AUVs also, and we have the 4-wheel drive class. And also the open class, which is no limits. You can put rally tires, whether you have a 2, 3-liter engine, 4-liter engine, you can join that class.
It was well and good because another strong field of challengers showed up the second leg of the Rallycross season, including newcomers to the sport. Although not so new to other local motorsports disciplines, like 65-year-old Steve Travers, who has been joining the Flat Out Race Series and competed in last year's 8-hour endurance race at the Batangas Racing Circuit.
Well, this car, KYB Yaris, was prepared for the 8-hour endurance race last year at Batangas 2017, and this car won the Manufacturers Cup, and I didn't change it. It's my daily driver, drive it back and forth, and I live here close by, and saw this Lubao Rallycross and wanted to try it. I've never raced on dirt before, so I just brought it. Same as it was last year for the 8-hour endurance, it's set up the same way.
It was hot out on the dirt track, but curiously enough, Steve compares the drive to how he learned to drive on icy streets as a teenager back in the US.
I'm just having fun. I really am. It's for me. I like that feel. It's like being in the U.S. in ice and snow, or, I grew up in it, but in rear-wheel drive. But it's kind of like that. So just fun.
Another newcomer to the sport of rallycross is Paulo Villacorta, who nonetheless is quickly learning how to drive on dirt track with the help of Japanese friend Sam Yamada.
For today, we didn't actually prepare ourselves as drivers. We came here expecting nothing. We just wanted to have fun. But maybe in terms of preparation, I asked my friend Sam to give me some pointers because he's a very experienced rally driver all the way from Japan and here in the Philippines. Well, the racetrack was kind of challenging. It had a lot of slippery portions, twists and turns, and there were varying levels of traction in different areas, so it was a bit tricky. As a beginner, it was really a matter of controlling one's urge to go too fast and losing control. So with the help of Sam giving me instructions how to approach corners, how to attack on the straightaways, it was a good experience overall.
Sam Yamada, who was fastest in the UV class in rounds 1 and 2 but may not have started in round 3, and Paulo Villarta, who was second fastest in round 1 and third in round 2, maybe become fixtures in all the legs of the rallycross season.
We intend to be part of all the legs. I think there are 4 more for 2018. We're also part of Outdoor Challenge Philippines, and our races will be coinciding with the legs of Philippine Rallycross. So we'll be here all the time in the next 4 races for 2018.
Another driver, certainly not a newcomer to the rallycross, who intends to compete in the entire 2018 TRXS season is Keanu Dominado. He has been with the Philippine Rallycross Series from the start.
I went into racing, into Rallycross 2015, especially when Philippine Rallycross Series was brought back by Sir Olson Camacho, and that's where it all began. It was all in Arca South, it was in FTI, and the tracks there were a mix of tarmac and mud. It was really fun. Yeah, especially for a beginner, it's really wild and fun.
Despite troubles with the Subaru WRX that he shared with teammates, including Carlos Anton, scored points for placing second in both round 2 and 3.
So far for today, the run was really fun despite the heat and despite we've been experiencing car problems, like we cannot shift to first gear. Like we fear that there's something there's something wrong with the gearbox. So despite our shortcomings in the transmission, we were still able to improve our times, and we made some few compromises along the way. And at the end of the day, we just rely on driving skill. Then as mentioned earlier, since we don't have a first gear, I was told to change my line, to go slower, and then apparently, surprisingly, it gave me a better time since I was able to go the outside, inside, and outside style. It turned out better.
Keanu credits much of his success and enjoyment of rallycross to having good mentors, and yes, good sponsors also help.
And I just want to thank the people who have helped me along the way, despite all the times that's been tough with the car. Si Tito Egay Ortiz Luis with his Shelby Auto Station. Thank you very much, Tito. And Tito Carlos Anton for giving me some advices for driving techniques, and also same with Tito Ejen Diliaco for being there behind the scenes and always coaching me. And of course, my dad, Kenneth Dominado, Pops. This is me continuing. So, and of course, Danny Santiago, how can I forget him? Ever since I was young, he was already there with us. So, I'd like to thank everyone who has been supporting Philippine Rallycross Series, and I hope the legacy continues.
Keanu Dominado's teammate, Carlos Anton, was the biggest winner in the second leg of 2018 Philippine Rallycross season, continuing his perfect season so far, going fastest in both morning and nighttime session of leg 2 in the open class, even while competing a car with no first gear.
We were able to get the quickest time in the open class last race. And actually, I had to run at night most of the time that time because there's so many entries, and then the track was so long. So it took a really long time, and we had to ginabi na kami. So at least now they shortened the track a little, so it's a lot quicker. And then it's different for me running in the daytime naman now. But we had some problems this leg. Na we lost our first gear. So we're running now the whole 3 heats with just second gear. But so far, we just have to adjust our driving. Of course, the takeoff has to be, it's a little harder on second, and then a lot of the curves here should be first gear, but we have to take it now in second gear.
Carlos Anton believes the shorter course makes for closer and more exciting competition.
It's more technical now because they took out the fast section at the back, the high-speed section. That was also nice before because we had a long top of third gear stretch, which we don't use anymore now. But I think for practicality's sake, we really need to shorten it because hindi matatapos eh. So I think it's good. It's a different, parang it makes it more interesting also now because the fighting is closer and then it's a shorter time to complete one lap.
Carlos Anton attributes his success so far to his team's efforts to keep the WRX running. And again, sponsors help go a long way towards keeping the sport he loves alive and well.
Thank you to my sponsors, Castrol, Yokohama, Egay and Keanu Dominado, Egay Ortiz. Thank you for lending me your car. And thank you to the organizers bringing Rallycross back because it's a really good sport.
Also a fixture of the Rallycross season is June Magno, a veteran of rallies and Rallycross events over the years. Competing in Group 2 for cars powered by 1301 to 1600cc engines, June Magno found the dusty track to be a bit of a challenge.
It's the same as the first round, only shorter. So now the temperature is higher, so there's more dust on the road. The biggest obstacle that we encounter now is the dust coming from the other car. So that will hinder our progress. And after round 2, several corners already is not really rutted, but the surface is really loose. So we are trying to find a way to give us more traction for the last run because I still have my third run. We did try a different suspension setting. That's all we could do. Tire pressure also, we tried to change it a bit. But basically, our engine is the standard engine of the car. So we still have to see.
A couple of the big boys figuratively, that is the Philippine Rallying, Art Guevara and Ivan Isada, showed up at the Pradera Verde to take part in the Rallycross competition. Fresh from their stint competing with the big guns of international rallying at Rally Otago, the opening round of the 2018 New Zealand Rally Championship.
So we recently just joined the Rally Otago in New Zealand. That's in Dunedin and the South Island of New Zealand. And we were able to join an event wherein there was a lot of high-profile rally drivers like the likes of WRC stars Hayden Paddon and Mads Osberg. And we were able to compete in a very high-speed rally and a very high-profile and very competitive rally. So we did it with our small little yellow Suzuki like what we have here on this shirt. And along with that one, we brought in a couple more of Filipino guys to complete the rally with us. So we were able to enjoy ourselves on that rally.
It was a very exciting and very challenging rally, especially with the high level of skill and competition that we have. Also, some APRC drivers were also there.
Ivan Isada and Art Guevara said they treated the Rallycross event more as a cool-down activity after the rigors of their stint in New Zealand, although they did find the Pradera track challenging.
So far today, we've been enjoying ourselves. We are taking this as a cool down from our New Zealand. Well, actually, it's hot here, but hotter here than in New Zealand. But we take it as a cool down or a transition from being very competitive and serious to just having some fun here with our local friends in the Philippines and in the local motorsports.
It's quite challenging also. And as I can see now, most corners are getting deteriorated. More challenge to go when I get my run a little bit later.
Both said the Rallycross event has improved from the years past, although they indicated more need to be done.
We're hoping that the runs will be able to run as much as possible on the series, and that the tracks get better. I see that the organizers are improving on the race tracks and the system of how we run. So making it more leisurely and more recreational when we start to drive this one. So the competitors enjoy more with a good system and with a good track, and eventually competition will come, and we'll get to enjoy that one as well.
Congrats to the organizers. They're having a better system now, and they told us that they will still improve until towards the end of the season.
The results of a long day and night of rallycross action showed Giancarlo Pelayo topping round 2 in the Group 1 class, beating Tiger Espino, who was in second, and John Doblada in third. Tiger Espino proved the better driver in the dart, topping round 3 with John Doblada finishing second and Giancarlo Pelayo ending up third. In the Group 2 competition, Mondi Mapilis topped round 2 but was demoted to third in round 3, which was won by John C. Reyes. June Magno was third in round 2 but dropped to fourth in round 3. In Group 3, Mondi Mapilis topped both daytime and nighttime rounds. John C. Reyes was second both rounds. June Magno was third in both as well. John C. Reyes was fastest in Group 4 in both round 2 and 3. And that concludes another exciting coverage of the Philippine Rallycross Series. Don't forget to check us out next week as we bring you more highlights of Philippine motorsports.
There were some new faces at rounds 2 and 3 of the Philippine Rallycross Series, as well as a number of inveterate veterans of the sport driving on dirt tracks. And a word that seems they can't stop saying is enjoy. This augurs well for the growth of rallycross and rally driving. This week's feature on Race Weekend has been brought to you by Phoenix Fuels.
Make every trip come alive with Phoenix Fuels, now with Pulse technology. These are the Fuel Masters. Every time they're on the court, it's high performance. Every time I'm on the road, I can also expect high performance from Phoenix Fuels. We made it! The next generation Phoenix Fuels, now with Pulse technology, delivers enhanced power and acceleration to make every trip come alive.